Please open the sutra, the first page. The fourth line from the bottom. Please look at the scripture. Thus have I heard at one time the Buddha in the city of Rajagriha on Vulture Peak with a great assembly of 12,000 monks. We see this place here. The sutra divided into 3 parts. We will also skip this part, as it has been discussed many times before, and everyone is familiar with it. So today, we will be in the scripture to study. Which ones? This is what we are particularly emphasizing. At the beginning of the Buddhist sutras, there is always heard the 4 words. The meaning of these 4 words is very deep, very broad, truly endless. What mean to enter world? The ancient great virtues explain to us the simplest explanation. Thus to this day, it is what I personally heard the Buddha say. This is the simplest explanation. Who am I? Ananda refers to himself. When the world-honored one was alive, he preached and taught without any records. Just like Confucius in China when he was indeed teaching as a philosopher. After Buddha passed, his disciples, his students, felt that the teacher, what he said throughout his life, for all sentient beings, are truly too important. They cannot let what was said be lost in this generation and not be passed down. How regrettable that would be. So what did the students do? They held a meeting to discuss how to ensure that all the sutras spoken by the Buddha are passed down forever. And thus a miracle occurred. This method. So during the compilation of the scriptures, it completely relied on the memory of people at the time. Everyone knows the Buddha taught for 49 years. Now, is there anyone who can remember everything said over 49 years? Can you remember it all? Especially, can you still remember the teachings from 49 years ago? I'm afraid in our world, you won't find anyone, let alone 49 years. Even things said 9 years ago, you probably have forgotten completely. Can't remember it all. Well, fortunately, among the Buddha's disciples, there was Venerable Ananda with an exceptionally strong memory. Anand, this ability is indeed very special. After hearing something once, he would never forget it. So, during the compilation of the scriptures, everyone elected Ananda to recite them again. to repeat all the teachings the world-honored one had given throughout his life. It's like how we now review small compositions, reciting them again. The audience consisted of these great figures. They were all the Buddha's chief disciples. These people came to listen to Ananda speak. 2. During the first compilation, 500 arhats, 500 people, came to listen. And Ananda was able to receive recognition. Among the 500 people, there was one person who raised an opinion, saying that a certain sentence by Ananda seemed not to be what the Buddha had said, and it needed to be removed or revised. If the majority agreed, it would be amended. It had to be approved by all 500 people. Only then could it be recorded as a scripture and passed down to future generations. Even one person's objection was not allowed. This was to ensure trust for future generations. Future generations, when they receive the scriptures, they should have a heart of respect. I find it difficult to speak again. As the Buddha described, there is no difference. So at the beginning of this scripture, thus it is written. There is much meaning within which everyone can refer to. The ancient greats highlighted the scenery. What we need to learn today, according to our school. Thus it is. The secret cause is the true nature. The world one. What was spoken throughout his life is to explain the essence, features, and functions of self-confidence. This is what is described in the Prajnaparamita Sutra as the true nature of all dharmas, as spoken by the Buddha, is represented by the character Ayu. As it is said, the nature is like its appearance, and the appearance is like its nature. Nature and appearance are not two. The mind is discussed from the perspective of principle, and appearance is discussed from the perspective of phenomena. Separation is like its four aspects, like its separation. Separation and the four are not two. The Buddha explains this great principle to us. He explains to us the true nature of this reality. Thus, the sutra begins. Isn't it true? The general outline is presented. If someone asks, with so many Buddhist scriptures, what exactly did Shakyamuni Buddha say? You just start with thus. So if you ask, the two words thus need to be explained in detail. This entire Tripitaka is about these two words. Indeed, there is not a single sentence or a word that goes beyond thus. So the meaning of these two words is an endless, divine, like. According to our school, the ancient sages also have this saying, Ayu refers to the heart, which is the Buddha. Find Buddha. This saying is also very well put. It is entirely based on the Infinite Life Sutra, as stated, the principle on which the clear mirror is based. Indeed, the fundamental principle of the Jin school is these two sentences. The mind is Buddha, the mind becomes Buddha. In other words, the mind is Buddha, and Buddha is the mind. Who doesn't have a mind? Since you have a mind, the Buddha says, all sentient beings are originally Buddhas. This statement makes us suddenly realize, why is it said we are originally Buddhas? The mind is Buddha. In Chinese, it is said to understand the mind and see one's nature, to see the mind and become Buddha. The people's mind is the true mind. The true mind is the original nature. When the people's mind sees nature, the nature of the mind is Buddha. The mind is Buddha, and nature is Buddha. Why are both the mind and nature referred to as Buddha, like two words? Two words. Naturally, there are two explanations. It is usually said that nature is the essence of the mind. The mind, then, is the function of the mind. In other words, a mind has both essence and function. From the essence, it is called the mind, and from the function, it is also called the mind. So sometimes, this, essence and function, using one word, you can say mind, or you can also say heart. When the two words are combined together, one refers to essence, and the other to function. Hey, this is something we must understand clearly. So, since we are originally Buddha, why are we not Buddha now? Why are we not Buddha? Because we have lost our mind and nature. This often mentioned, losing or being lost, is not truly lost. Definitely, it's impossible to truly lose it. Even if you become an evil spirit or fall into the deepest hell. Your mind and nature are not lost, they are still there, right? Being confused, you have a true mind and original nature, but cannot perceive it. Unable to be aware. That's how it is. Once we understand, we no longer call it mind or nature. What do we call it? In Buddhism, it is called love poems. Love poems are planets. The confused mind and nature are given another name called Qing Shi. Once enlightened, it is called mind and nature. This star. What exactly is it like? How can we recognize it? Buddha tells us the essence of the star is empty and tranquil. It is not tangible, but it truly exists. All material phenomena manifest from it. Indeed. The origin of the universe and life. Where does the universe and life come from? It transforms from the star. So Buddha says in the Avatamsaka Sutra, the 10 Dharma realms are magnificently adorned, manifested by the mind alone. This is what our true mind manifests. Why is the manifested realm so complex, with so many changes? Those changes are temporal. You see, only when one is confused, so many changes occur. In the 18 realm, from above, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas principles, the sound hearers below are the 6 parts. The further down you go, the deeper the confusion. The further up you go, the shallower the confusion. All have lost their true nature. If one is not confused, they are a Buddha, not an ordinary person. Within the 10 Dharma realms, they are also called ordinary beings. In Buddhist scriptures, they are referred to as external Brahmins. Those within the 6 parts are internal. Ordinary beings within the 6 parts usually referred to as ordinary beings without adding internal. But outside the 6 parts, the 4 holy realms of the 10 Dharma realms, we call them external Dharma. Still making the same error. They haven't seen the truth, haven't restored their original mind. Therefore, the mind is Buddha, which is an absolutely true fact. We respect this. The theoretical basis for becoming a Buddha and practicing in this life lies here. Because we are originally Buddhas. But now we are confused. How do we break through confusion and achieve enlightenment? By restoring our original face, which is Buddha. So the practice of the Pure Land School, the method, is absolutely marvelous. There are 84,000 Dharma doors, countless Dharma doors. Among them, this one Dharma door is the most ultimate, the most complete, the most unique, the most direct, the most reliable, and also the fastest. What is this method? It is the mind becoming Buddha. How do you do it? By chanting Buddha's name, you become Buddha. What Mahayana Buddha said truly taught us to chant the Buddha's name. Recite Buddha's name with your mouth. Think of Buddha in your heart. You are becoming Buddha. How do you think of Buddha? Think of Buddha's appearance. Think of Buddha's majesty. Think of the merits of enjoying blessings. Think of the practice of enjoying blessings in the causal ground. Think of the achievements of enjoying blessings in the ancient ground, enjoying blessings and transforming all sentient beings. The countless, boundless, extraordinary merits. Often think of these good things. Then your mind is becoming Buddha. Therefore, the Infinite Life Sutra cannot be left unspoken. The method I taught you. At the beginning, we spend a year reciting this sutra 3,000 times. If a year is not enough, then 2 or 3 years. That should be sufficient. 3 years should be enough. Recite it 3,000 times. Recite the text, and after reciting, you will be able to achieve it. Only then can your mind truly become Buddha. 24 hours a day. Don't think about anything else. Focus entirely on the majestic purity of the Pure Land. How should you think about it, as described in the scriptures? Keep it in your heart often. Frequently think about the taboos mentioned in the sutra. You are truly practicing. You integrate this sutra with the nature of cause and effect. A variety of merits. Fully implement them in your daily life. You have achieved it all. Then why don't you become a Buddha? This is the scholar, completely in harmony with Confucianism. That is, completely aligned with the principle of the mind becoming Buddha. See how great this method is. The practice of chanting Buddha's name to become a Buddha has a basis. It's not just said casually. Such an extraordinary method. Venerable Nan personally heard it from Shakyamuni Buddha. The words are as such. We need to learn like this. To encompass the entire army. The principles and methods should all be integrated into our thoughts. This is the essence of many scriptures and treatises. The general outline and principles of faith and practice are highlighted right at the beginning of the text. This moment below refers to time. It doesn't specify the year, month, and day. It records history. At one time has a certain flavor. You need to be able to enter at one time. Let me tell you all. Past, present, future, you understand them all. We ordinary people often say someone has great supernatural powers, knowing the past and future. Why do they know the past and future? He lives in a moment. Why don't we know the past and future? Because we live in the 30. Isn't that unfortunate? This 30 years past, present, and future, all right, past events are forgotten. Future events are unknown, and the present is also confusing and unclear. What do we do to learn Buddhism? Learning Buddhism is a lifelong journey. How can we manage night meals? We need to understand. We need to be clear, even if we can't achieve it. Etiquette and the true nature of things, we must know them. We need to know. Create. It means there as if unsure. In Buddhism, it talks about the non-dual method. Non-duality is one, duality is not one. One is true, two is false. Look at what is said in the Flower Adornment Sutra about the one true Dharma realm. That is true. As for two, it becomes the 10 Dharma realms. The meaning is absolute. The karma is confusion. Two is not confusion. Two leads to confusion, being of two minds. Being of two minds is a Buddhist term. What does three minds mean? Look at this. Become. One mind becomes three minds. One mind is the true mind, the true suchness, while three minds refer to the mind's intention and reality. The Alaya consciousness. No, that is the intention of the first 6 consciousnesses. Originally it was. At first it was night, now it has become 80. 80 years is called 3 stars. Why is there 2G? The role of 2G is the greatest. Within the 80, this is called the 8 minds, the dual significance of the 80. The greatest. The 211 root is manas, and manas is attachment. Firm attachment. The 6th is temporary. Consciousness is differentiation. Now we initiate thoughts and differentiate attachments. This is the thing causing trouble. So this is confusion. How can one return to unity? Look at Zen Buddhism. In Zen, when one realizes the mind and sees the nature, they see the path. It is often said in the Zen school, establish the 10,000 walls. One day, when you enter the realm of unity, nothing will matter. The matters of the 6 realms will disappear, and so will the matters of the 18 realms. As long as you can attain the seal of unity, you will reach the realm of true reality. In the realm of true reality, let me tell you, time is unified. Our current time is also unified. Look at the modern scientist, Einstein. Well, he mentioned in his works, as Einstein said, the past, present and future exist simultaneously. His statement is remarkable. How could he know that the past, present and future exist simultaneously? We don't know where he discovered this from. Of course, he didn't see it. Perhaps he deduced it theoretically. This science, the most fundamental, theoretical basis is mathematics. So mathematics is the eye of science. What is deduced from advanced mathematical reasoning can be known. The past, present, and future exist simultaneously, indeed. So in both the East and the West, every country and region has some prophesies. How are predictions about the future made? Predictions are reasoning mostly deduced from mathematics. Reasoning may not be entirely correct, but if a person can truly enter a state of meditation and achieve true concentration, in the meditative state, one breaks through time and space, which means transcending the past, seeing the past, present, and future all at once. Proven. As Einstein said, the past, present, and future exist simultaneously. You can see future events clearly and accurately, speaking about them without any mistakes. Isn't that so? This is the most accurate language. So, this meaning is very, very profound. Only the present moment is real, indeed. Telling you the year, month, and day is false. It is the delusional distinctions and attachments of all beings. Buddhism tells truth. Today, although the Buddha is at the second stage of enlightenment, this is the ultimate truth, the realm that the Buddha has personally realized, and this is real. According to the views of sentient beings,